Good morning and welcome to another short devotional for Black Rock Baptist Church and also Morristown Baptist Church. I want to talk to you today about the seasons of loneliness in life, and we're looking to 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 13. What should we do when we go through a season of loneliness in life? The answer is illustrated in the life of the Apostle Paul in 2 Timothy chapter 4 when he's in prison and he's awaiting his execution. When you go through a season of loneliness, you want to make the most of your time. That means making the best of a bad situation. Resist the temptation to just sit there and do nothing. Take action, any kind of action. Try to think of creative ways to take advantage of the seasons in which you find yourself alone. Paul wrote to Timothy, and Paul was in prison at the time, and he told Timothy, "When you come, be sure to bring the coat that I left with Carpus at Troas. Also bring my books, and especially my papers." In a season of loneliness, Paul wanted to be productive. Even though he was lonely, he didn't want to throw a pity party. He didn't complain or give up. Paul is one of the greatest Christians who ever lived. He'd won countless people to Christ, and yet he was completely alone in his final days. He made the best of the situation by deciding to utilize his time. The verse records him saying two things: "Bring my coat." The Roman prisons were damp, dark, and cold. Paul did what he could do to take care of himself. When we're lonely and depressed, we don't always take very good care of ourselves, physically or emotionally. We don't exercise, we don't rest well, we don't eat right. Just because you're lonely doesn't mean you shouldn't take care of yourself. And then Paul says also, "Bring my books." Paul was a people person. He didn't like to be alone. It wasn't the way God wired him. Being in solitary confinement in a Roman prison was the opposite of where he wanted to be. Yet he did the best he could. He wrote letters from that prison cell that today are included in the New Testament. I don't know, but maybe the only way God could slow Paul down was to put him in solitary confinement. Over 2,000 years later, we're still benefiting from how Paul used his time when he was lonely. Friend, God doesn't want you to waste those seasons of loneliness in your life. God bless. Have a wonderful day. And until we meet again, let's continue to exchange prayers daily.